When people say that family is forever, they don't tell you that forever can sometimes feel like a curse. My name is Livia Crandell, and if you had told me 5 years ago that my own brother would become the architect of my heartbreak, I would have laughed in disbelief. But then, I used to laugh a lot back then, before everything fell apart. It started long before the wedding, long before the video that nearly destroyed my life. The truth is, my brother and I were always opposites. Eamon Crandell was the storm to my calm, the kind of person who could charm a room and burn it down in the same breath. He was 2 years older, taller, louder, and angrier at the world than anyone I'd ever known. Our mother used to say he was born with thunder in his chest. I think that was her way of making excuses for him. When we were kids, Eamon used to accuse me of being the favorite. I was the easy one, the one who followed rules, got straight A's, stayed out of trouble. He'd roll his eyes whenever our parents praised me. "Of course she did it right," he'd mutter. "Perfect Livia always does." I used to think it was teasing, harmless sibling rivalry. But jealousy has a way of festering quietly, until one day it grows teeth. When I met Graham Holt, I thought I'd finally outrun the chaos of my family. Graham was steady, grounded, everything Eamon wasn't. He worked in architecture, with a mind that saw structure where others saw noise. From our first date, I knew this was the man I'd build my life with. We fell hard and fast. Within a year, we were engaged, and I was planning a wedding that felt like something out of a dream. Eamon was my best man's mirror image. My maid of honor was supposed to be my best friend, but I couldn't imagine excluding my brother from my big day. Despite our friction, I still loved him. I wanted him to feel included, to see that he wasn't being left behind. I should have known better. He showed up to every fitting, every rehearsal, acting the part of the doting brother, smiling for photos, cracking jokes, hugging Graham like he meant it. But there were small moments, quick flashes of something darker beneath the charm. Once, I caught him watching me across the table at dinner, a faint smirk playing on his lips as if he knew something I didn't. Another time, he said, "You really think this is going to last, huh?" When I asked what he meant, he just shrugged. People change when the spotlight's off. I brushed it off. It was easier than believing my brother would want to hurt me. 3 weeks before the wedding, I noticed Graham acting. Different, distracted. He'd come home late from work, avoid eye contact, pull away when I tried to kiss him. I told myself he was stressed. Weddings do that to people. But one night, as I was going over final seating charts, he came into the living room, pale and trembling, holding his phone. "Liv," he said, voice hollow. "What is this?" He turned the screen toward me. My heart stuttered. It was a video, grainy, shaky, but unmistakable. A hotel room. A woman, with my hair, my clothes, laughing with a man I didn't recognize. Then they kissed. It wasn't me, but it looked like me. It sounded like me. My mouth went dry. Graham, that's not me." He stared at me, pain etched into every line of his face. "Then explain it. It's dated last month. Same night you said you were at that bridal expo with Harper." "I was with Harper. You can call her." But he didn't. He just nodded slowly, as if trying to convince himself of something, then walked out of the room without another word. That night, he didn't come home. The next day, my calls went to voicemail. My texts stayed unread. Harper swore she'd confirm my alibi to him, but it didn't matter. The seed of doubt had been planted. By the end of the week, I heard from his mother that he'd postponed the wedding indefinitely. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. My world collapsed in slow motion, one rumor at a time. The video had spread. Someone sent it anonymously to my bridesmaids, to Graham's best friend, even to my work email. My reputation, my relationship, my peace, gone. It wasn't until 2 weeks later that I began to suspect Eamon. It started with something small, his timing. The day the video circulated, he'd texted me something strange. Maybe it's a sign. When I asked what he meant, he didn't reply, but it stuck with me. And when I thought back on his smirks, his comments, his sudden interest in my wedding planning, it all started to feel like pieces of a puzzle snapping into place. So I started digging. I'd always been the tech-savvy one in the family. Eamon wasn't. He used the same email for everything, never changed his passwords. I knew his laptop password. He'd once used my birthday, joking that I was easy to remember. When I logged in, my stomach knotted so tight I could barely breathe. In his downloads folder was a subfolder titled Work Projects. Inside were dozens of files, video editing software, deepfake plugins, trial versions of voice synthesis tools. And in one folder, buried deeper, was a file titled Project L.mp4. My blood ran cold. I clicked it open. The video that had ruined my life played back in full resolution. I froze, then scrubbed through the footage, pausing at a frame that had always looked a little off, the tilt of the jaw, the light on the skin. It was fake, a damn fake. He'd built it from footage of me at a friend's party last year, piecing together expressions, syncing sound from old voice memos. It was horrifying. It was horrifying. It was brilliant. It was Eamon. I remember sitting there for what felt like hours, shaking, numb, the monitor casting blue light across my trembling hands. Then something inside me hardened. I wasn't going to cry anymore. I wasn't going to beg anyone to believe me. I was going to end this my way. The next day, I invited everyone. Graham, my parents, Eamon, Ilara, our cousin, Harper, and a few close friends, to what I called a rehearsal dinner reboot. I told them I wanted to clear the air. Eamon showed up early, smiling, a bottle of champagne in hand. "Glad to see you're not letting this get to you," he said, clapping me on the shoulder. "Oh, I'm done crying," I said, smiling back. "Tonight's about celebration." He grinned. "That's my girl." I could barely stand to look at him. Dinner started calm, polite. Everyone was cautious, watching me like I might break. Graham sat beside me, quiet, eyes tired. Eamon kept refilling glasses, cracking jokes, trying to steer the mood. Halfway through the meal, I stood up. "Actually, before dessert," I said, "there's something I'd like to show everyone." Eamon froze mid-sip. I clicked the remote. The lights dimmed. A projector screen descended behind me. A video began to play, the same one that had circulated weeks before. My fake self laughing, touching the stranger's arm, leaning in for the kiss. The table went silent. Then, as the clip ended, I spoke. That video destroyed my wedding, my relationship, my reputation. But what most people didn't know, I hit another button and a new clip appeared. This one showing a screen recording of me opening Eamon's laptop, navigating to the folder, the file, the editing software, the metadata timestamps. Is that it was made on this computer. Gasps filled the room. Eamon's face drained of color. "Livia, what the hell are you doing?" "I'm showing the truth," I said calmly. "Those files could have been planted," he snapped, standing up. "You're twisting things. I interrupted him by clicking again. The final slide appeared. A screen recording of a voice memo. His voice, clear and sharp. "She's had everything her whole life. Let's see how perfect she looks when he dumps her." The sound of it hung in the air like smoke. My father stood livid. "Eamon, what is this?" He tried to speak, but the words tangled in his throat. He turned toward me, eyes wide, fury and fear colliding. "You went through my computer?" "I went through the ruins you left me," I said. "You tried to destroy me because you couldn't stand to see me happy. You wanted revenge for every time you thought I was loved more. Well, congratulations. You got your moment." Graham's eyes met mine, trembling. "Is this all real?" "Yes," I said simply. "And the police have copies. Every file, every message. I wanted you all to see the truth before it goes any further." Eamon lunged forward, but my father intercepted him, shoving him back. "Get out," he growled, "before I do something I regret." The room erupted after that, my mother crying, Harper clutching my hand, Graham whispering apologies over and over. I stood there through it all, numb but free. By morning, the video of the dinner confrontation was everywhere. Someone had recorded it. Eamon's reputation was shredded overnight. His employer suspended him pending an investigation. The police confirmed the evidence, and within weeks, he was charged with defamation and fraud. Graham begged me for forgiveness, saying he should have trusted me. I told him the truth. Love without trust isn't love, it's surveillance. We never reconciled. The wedding was canceled for good. Months later, I moved to a new city, far enough away that no one recognized my last name. I started consulting in digital ethics, ironically enough, teaching companies how to detect and prevent deepfake manipulation. The first time I stood in front of a crowd to present, I felt my hands tremble, not from fear, but from power. I was no longer the victim. Eamon tried contacting me once, from a fake email, of course. He wrote, "You got what you wanted. Are you happy now?" I never replied, because happiness wasn't what I got. What I got was freedom, the kind you earn when you stop apologizing for surviving someone else's cruelty. And sometimes, late at night, when I look back on it all, I don't see the pain anymore. I see the moment the projector lit up that room, and the truth finally had a voice louder than any lie. That's the night I stopped being the favorite. That's the night I became the one who fought back.
You've just stepped into her revenge side, where every wound finds its justice, and every silence ends with truth. If her story struck a chord, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps these stories alive. Another secret waits in the next video. See how her revenge begins.